of another sustainable Saturday. It's a Saturday morning, 34 degrees here in Macon, Georgia. Dampness. Hope all of you who got the winter weather came through it okay. No damage or little damage as possible. We didn't get anything here. Just got cold. The greenhouse stayed warm enough. My plants stayed warm enough. My microgreens are looking really good. I'm really excited about this week's market. We'll check on my mushrooms today, and we'll try to get some more mushroom spores in. And also I will show you what I'm going to do to cook off my coffee grounds so that I can get rid of the mold situation, which I think I've kind of eradicated a lot of it by simply turning on a fan back there. It started some air circulation, and saw some immediately better results. So anyway, I've turned the pigs loose into the front pasture. I think I've settled on the easiest and quickest idea, which is going to just be to dry out the grounds in this pot on my grill. I think that's going to be the easiest way to go. Well, Saturday is done, and see, I got 4 trays of microgreens, 4 big trays, and 2 small trays trayed up microgreens, and got some of the coffee grounds dried. You see how we finally derived the way to do it is to just use the grill and a pan. I'm going to go in and wash up my jars and my utensils and everything, and get those cleaned up, and probably maybe start soaking some alfalfa sprouts for next Wednesday as well. But after that, it's shower and it's movie time with Charlene. Well, it's almost lunchtime, and I've got some hay pasteurizing. Not here, of course. These are pasture pigs eating hay. But I've got some hay pasteurizing in the calcified lime, or whatever it is. Anyway, I've got some hay pasteurizing. I've also got some seeds soaking, and getting ready for everything ready for this week's market. So I figured I would give you a few piggy shots here to wind down the day. It's Monday afternoon, and I've spent most of the last 2 days navigating for Charlene. It's a time I enjoy because I get to spend time with her, but also it helps me to see things here on the farm from a different perspective. Helps me to kind of get outside of the picture, so to speak, so that I don't see all the little things that need to be done, and see and can focus on actually the essentials. And so it helped me make a few decisions. One of those decisions, or I guess a series of decisions, was on the castration of our boars. Unfortunately, Rufus is a little too old for that. He's right at 10 months old, and I don't want to chance the complications. First of all, trying to get him, holding him down, injuring him in the process. But my 2 youngest boars that were just born Thanksgiving Day, I will go ahead and castrate them, and I'm not going to band. I'm going to go ahead and do the typical cut and pull castration technique. But that's for their well-being as well as for the quality of the meat. The other decision is regarding my aquaponics system. I ended up losing the last 4 tilapia, and it just made me realize that this is one of the situations where I've got to understand I was not willing or anxious to, or whatever, to provide the inputs necessary to get the outputs I desired. So that's really not a priority for me, and it's better that this happened now than for me to get it up and going and then have it collapse on me, because it turned immediately into an opportunity where I can make a root cellar where the fish pond was, and still have a hydroponic system that I'll use for microgreens. But the greenhouse, I'm going to expand our microgreens and mushroom production into that area, and we'll get much more output from that. That's one of those things where I fell for that no true Scotsman thing, where no true sustainable permaculture guy has a sustainable homestead unless he's got an aquaponics system, and that's just stuff we tell ourselves. So I've erased that. We may at some point have an aquaponics system, but for now, as far as our seafood is concerned, we'll just have to either fish or we've got one of the folks that buys pig shares from us, got a pond. He said we can fish it anytime we want. So and it's full of fish, so we can do that. And we've got plenty of other meat here, but just the economics of the microgreens, where it can provide, I believe, a steady income for the farm. Well, the pigs are screaming. I guess it's time for me to go get pick some dandelions for them and give them a little afternoon snack, maybe some wheat straw. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Well, I've got my my straw here, my wheat straw here. It's been soaking for 24 hours in the calcified lime, the hydrated lime. I remember that time, hydrated lime. And my coffee grounds, they've been drying out. They're still a little clumpy, but I can break that up with my hands as I mix them together. I've got the straw and coffee grounds mixed together here. I hope you can see it here. Let's see if I can get a little light on it. There we go. And I may add some cocoa core to that, and I'll take that and I'll layer this into this bucket. You can see I've drilled 1/2-inch holes around it, and I'll layer it with the mushroom spores in order to produce mushrooms. I was today just feeling a little bit low energy, couldn't get going like I normally do, couldn't figure out what it was, thought it might have been something physical, emotional, whatever, and then realized that just yesterday I had made the decision to stop the aquaponics system. I had failed at producing the outputs that I expected from the inputs that I had put in. And sometimes we need to acknowledge those things and release them, because there is a grieving process that takes our energy if we don't. But basically it's about releasing what should be, what could be, what ought to be, all of those emotional things, and embracing what is. So what is we've got an opportunity with the microgreens. We do sell microgreens, by the way. We've got an opportunity with the microgreens, and I believe with the mushrooms as well, and some of the other things that we can do without the aquaponics system, without the inputs of the energy into the aquaponics system. So now I've logically in my mind let go, and now it's time for me to emotionally let go, that I'm not a failure because I my aquaponics system didn't work out the way I wanted to. I'm not less than, I'm not any of those things. It's just the way it happens. It was not my path. If it had been my path, I would have done the things necessary to turn it around, because I've done it with other areas. So I'm speaking to a lot of you folks who are either new to homesteading or even seasoned homesteaders who bump up against these things. It's not you. It just happens. Sometimes there's an outlier. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes there are inputs, but sometimes that's just not the path you're meant to take. Sometimes there are just certain plants that won't grow in certain areas, and sometimes there are certain animals that just won't thrive in certain habitats. So that's just it. Anyway, so I'm going to go and check on my microgreens, do some artwork and dandying up for tomorrow's market, and looking forward to that. So good night. I give my rabbits a little nettle. It's we think it's sticky and spiny, but man, they love this stuff. It's real nutritious for them. Yeah, I'll have some for you in just a minute. These are my pea shoots ready for market tomorrow, and they are looking beautiful. And then I've got some more, of course, because the cycle never stops. I've got some sprouts, alfalfa sprouts going here, radish going there, and then of course more microgreens growing there that I'm looking for those to be ready for tomorrow afternoon as well. Well, it looks like our little star girl has had her first litter. It's only 2. She's resting there. I'll get pictures of those, get a video of those later. It's market day again, and every market day gets a little bit better. This week we've got some really good looking product. Not as much as I would like. And again, I'm starting to learn how much I need to sow and soak and when I need to sow and soak in order to get what I'm looking for. The thing is, that's okay because we're in a slow part of the season now. Don't have a lot of visitors or a ton of visitors to the market. And this gives me kind of a chance to grow with the season. And so we'll be ready and booming once April hits. We're also starting up our CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. You can go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll get more information on that as well. I guess the big news, as you saw from earlier on, is that Star has farrowed, and we've got 3 more editions. It actually ended up being 3 if the other one makes it. There was one that was, I saw the pigs when I was filming, and as I walked around to feed the rabbits, I heard some mewling, and one of the piglets had fallen through the fence somehow, through the wooden fence, and underneath the old rabbit cages. So I picked him up and put him in with the other 2, and we'll see and let nature take its course. We'll see how he goes. But anyway, that was big news. So we've got 2 at least, maybe 3 more pig shares that we'll be putting out there soon. Things are really happening here at Buckwheat Farms, and we're happy for it. I'll get some footage of the market today and maybe show you some of the other vendors that are there, so that if you'd like to come down, not just for our microgreens and not just to see our smiling faces, but to get good quality, homegrown, locally grown, organically grown for the most part. Also, there's a lot of crafts there. There's homemade soaps. There's meats. It's pretty much becoming almost a corner grocery store, but all locally produced products. Well, our third market day is in the bag, and it kind of took an interesting turn. My greens looked absolutely fantastic. I had a speckled pea that were actually shoot size that we were taking, and they looked really good, but we didn't sell a lot of those. I had beautiful pineapple plants, didn't sell any of those. But this morning as we were riding around before we were getting ready to go to market, Charlene said, why don't you cut some of the spearmint from your garden area, and we'll take a basket of that and we'll sell the spearmint. And that was what won the day. So you never know. That's one of the things that we're learning here, is to follow our instincts as well as our intellect. And that really paid off today, because without that, who knows what we would have had to sell. But anyway, it was a good day. Got to spend some time with some really good people. And we're really enjoying this and looking forward to more days at the market. We've had a little dinner. I'm going to listen to some Hawks basketball, do a little paperwork, and we'll be back at it tomorrow.
Well, it looks like we only had 2 to make it. The third one didn't make it, and that's not bad. Two from her first litter. Cleo only had 3 in her first litter, and then ended up having 8. And 5 surviving in her second.
I hope you enjoyed the little video of the piggies there. I sure do enjoy them. But yesterday, this is Friday morning now. Yesterday, we ended up doing the entire day with inspections. I picked up some work while I was out on the road, and went up around the Jackson area and ended up getting home a little late. So I didn't get anything done around the farm. Today, we got to go out and do a couple more inspections and should be back. But this afternoon and tomorrow should be loaded up. This may be the end of this week, but just to let you know what to look forward to next week, I'm going to be changing out the pig area, where especially separating Zeus and Loki from the sows, so that we don't get overrun with piglets more than we can sell, flood our market and ruin our prices. But anyway, the big thing that we've got going on, well, that's a big thing. But the second big thing we've got going on is deconstructing the greenhouse. and changing that over and getting it set up to do just, we're just going to be growing seedlings and starting cuttings in there. It's going to be just a greenhouse without the aquaponics system, basically. So we're going to take out the aquaponics system, and I'll be turning that into a root cellar. But so we've got a lot going on, plus doing content. So it'll be a busy day. Let's get to it. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Sustainable Saturdays. It's still early Friday morning, going in and making breakfast, but just looks like today I won't have a lot of time for content just because of how busy we'll be. I will be putting out an Udom tonight. Everything we do is magic this evening, but this will go out tomorrow morning, which will be your Saturday morning, and then we'll get started again next week. But I may even do something like a name the piggy contest for my newborns. We'll see how that goes. But I do want to give a special shout out to the Instagram community at Cox Homestead, and I may put a link to their Instagram account. I don't know, but I was a little concerned because I thought my rabbits had mated, and I was expecting Snowball to kindle about this time because this is the time, and but she's exhibiting all the signs. She doesn't like being touched. When I tried to introduce her to Stormy a little bit, and she growled. So she's exhibiting all the signs, and I was wondering what had happened. But they said that their newest edition took up to 33 days to kindle. So I'm going to give her a couple more days and see if maybe it's her first litter, and see how she goes. So it's really good to learn from others, and that's the wonderful thing about the social media, about the groups, about liking. So not only can you learn from me, but I can learn immensely from you. So follow me, like me. Gosh, that sounds so bad, doesn't it? Follow my content, like my content, so you get more of it, and I'll be sure to follow you back. Until next time, namaste.